is that on multiple different accounts, their behaviour and their actions have been unlawful. There's no lawful basis for what they've done. They acted against the law. I was a victim of their aggression. I hope that this doesn't even get past the halfway stage once the judge listens to the illegal behaviour of the police officers that day.
Sheila Gunn-Reid for Rebel News, and I'm here in London, all the way from Western Canada, to cover the latest trial of citizen journalist and activist Tommy Robinson. To find more about that, please go to tommytrial.com. Now, Tommy, give us the brief explainer of what brings us here today.
I was having a breakfast in London. I went to report on an anti-Semitism rally. It was the biggest one the country's ever seen. I don't get hostility from that crowd. I get friendship from that crowd. I'm a supporter of Israel. I went there and I come under attack by the police. The police come in and said I needed to leave London, leave the city. I then wasn't given a chance to leave. As I left the cafe, I was manhandled, and in the end I was assaulted. I was pepper sprayed from point blank range whilst already handcuffed. And then that wasn't bad enough, but they decided that they were going to prosecute me. So I've now been prosecuted. I face prison today for disobeying their order. So they want to live in a state where they can attack journalists, they can violently attack them, and decide who can and can't report on which events. They said that my presence may cause people alarm and distress. My presence here may cause people alarm and distress. I speak openly and honestly, and unfortunately in the society we live in today, people get terrified by other opinions. So yeah, my presence may cause alarm and distress. Not one person made a complaint about my behaviour. There was no complaint about my behaviour at all. I was there as a journalist. I was there just with my cameraman. As you've come here today, I'd like to say thank you to Ezra. I'd like to say thank you to yourself. You've travelled a long way because we have a lying media. You will sit in court today. I believe you're going to tweet what's happening. So I'll share that message because you'll be able to tweet exactly what's being said. What we're going to hear today is that on multiple different accounts, their behaviour and their actions have been unlawful. There's no lawful basis for what they've done. They acted against the law. I was a victim of their aggression. And I hope with a fair justice system, which unfortunately I've not met that before, so I still like to try and have some faith. I hope that this doesn't even get past the halfway stage once the judge listens to the illegal behaviour of the police officers that day.
So how did you come on the radar of the police? Because you're there minding your own business as a supporter of Israel. How do you end up being basically attacked by the police?
When we read their statements, I was spotted, at which point I was spotted. They had decided to give me a Section 35 dispersal order, which means I need to disperse of the area. What they don't point out is that the next section of that says that they can't give someone a dispersal order if they're employed to be there. So if you're a journalist and my job is to go and report on these demonstrations, then they can't legally give me one anyway. It turns out that the officer that authorised the order doesn't have authorisation to authorise the order. It also turns out that where I was standing wasn't inside their exclusion zone of where they can give the order. There's a lot that's turned out when I've sat down with my legal team that it's a mockery of justice. It's a mockery of the... I don't want to live in a police state, yeah? I know I do. So I've made all of this is part of a film which I'm releasing. It's going to be released on the 1st of June. It's called Lawfare, A Totalitarian State, because people may think we have freedom of speech. They may think we have freedom of the press. We don't. And I'm a living example of that, but people will be able to see that in the film I'm creating.
How does it even happen that you become banned from an entire district?
See, I've been banned for 6 months from inside the M25. Do you know how many different boroughs that covers? Do you know how many different areas that is? So I've been banned for 6 months. I've been arrested on my daughter's birthday for taking her to a restaurant and going to watch a football match. I've not been able to meet. I have to ask a Muslim police officer for permission to come into this capital city. Yeah, I asked him to meet Andrew Bridgen as a journalist. You'll see this on the documentary. I come to interview a member of Parliament, and I was refused. They have decided whether I can work or not work, who I can meet and who I can't meet. If I wanted to meet, say I wanted to meet a source of journalism today. If I said I was meeting you last week and I want to meet you in London, I have to give your name, your phone number, the location of the meet. They then contact you, the police do, yeah? It's a police state. And then they've refused me each time. For anything to do with journalism, I've been refused. That's what we live. That's communism. It's like, it's insane. But the problem is, the majority of the British public don't know what's happening. What I'm going to show people with my new film is that what you're witnessing today and what you've witnessed with this case has happened to me for 15 years. This isn't a one-off. There's not one period of the last 15 years since my activism that I haven't faced prison, custody, or these absurd conditions that limit my freedoms and my journalism.
But also the people around you get sucked into the police state too. So if you met with me you'd have to turn my information over. So now I'm monitored by the police state.
Yeah, they want to know who I'm meeting, where I'm meeting. They contact you. So they contacted Andrew Bridgen's PA and said, what, and we interviewed him on the documentary. They contacted him and said, well, what's going on? He said, well, it's a meeting. We've got a hired venue, and Tommy's coming as a journalist to cover the event. No, he's not. No, he's not. And the decision was made by PC Shah. Insane. So today, as I said, I still find it insane that the whole world watched, that video went viral worldwide. They saw me eating a breakfast, come under attack, and I'm facing prison today. The police officer who pepper sprayed me should be facing prison. Someone should be held to account for what they've done, but it's me that they want to prosecute and send to prison. I just find it mad.
So we're going to go into the court today. What are you expecting out of the court?
My legal team are saying that this shouldn't get past halfway. My legal team said that it's illegal what they've done on multiple occasions. Usually there's 1 point to argue. We've got 5, yeah, that mean this has been unlawful action by the police. But there's no jury. I've never had a jury, yeah. Every conviction I've ever been convicted of is by a judge, an appointed judge. I've never, ever had a jury. So I don't have much faith. I hope it's not before Justice Snow, the judge, because he's the man who decided for the last 6 months, based on no evidence, that I've been banned from my capital city. Hamas supporters are not banned from this city. People calling for jihad on the streets are not banned from this city. I've been banned for 6 months. 6 months I've not been allowed to enter my capital city for no crime.
Now, there's a bit of a side story here, too, in that your home address was revealed in open court. Very dangerous for you.
There is a current counter-terrorism investigation from the last 48 hours where 3 properties were targeted with drones by 9 men of Muslim attire at those properties, and that comes about because these judges wish to... We're going to have the argument now when we get into court. They're going to try and make me give an address. They're going to try and do that today. So we'll see if we win that legal argument, but I'm not going to give an address anyway because I'm not going to endanger. But I had to, last night, at 11 o'clock last night, I had to move an innocent woman and her children out of a house because an address was given as mine, which is not where I live. There's an innocent family in that address, and people targeted that address for the last 2 days. So again, whether the judge listens to the fact that how can it be about justice to tell people where I live or my family live when they know I'm under threat? The police and government have given me 12 Osman warnings. That's 12 official warnings to say they believe there's intentions to kill me, and yet they want me to read out addresses in court, in open court. And journalists have argued that we want to hear his address in open court. I said I'll write my address down for the judge and I'll give you it, yeah, if that's what this is about. But that's not what this is about. It's about purposely endangering families, purposely endangering me, to put as much pressure as they can on me. But we'll see what happens now.